All right, let's dive into some game previews, and let's start with the big one here, Aaron. The commissioner called me into his office yesterday. Been just drinking coffee, burning the candle at both ends, trying to solve this case. Commissioner called me and he said, son, give me your badge, give me your gun, you're off the case. I don't know what to make of LSU Alabama, Aaron. I'm too close to it. I'm too close to it. I've got too much emotion tied in, too many family members that are involved in the investigation here. Because you know how it is. When you love something, you love and hate. There's such a thin dividing line. They're two sides of the same coin. So when you love something, you also know its flaws more intimately than those on the outside. And those tend to loom larger. It's like, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. Should I be like, yeah, Jayden Daniels is clearly better than Jalen Milroe by a huge gap, and this is the best offense in the country. So, like, why wouldn't they go win the game? Yes. But what I see is an LSU defense that has looked unfathomably bad at this time and now just lost their All-American interior defensive lineman, is down to 3 freshman corners and a guy in St. Ryan who sucks at corner. It's just like so the weaknesses loom larger probably because I want the win so badly. So my fear is almost overwhelming my my greed.
Yeah, losing Wingo does not help. I mean, Alabama's dead last when it comes to sacks given up this year, and LSU's third worst in the SEC when it comes to actually getting sacks. So like you take out one of your best guys to get after the quarterback. Listen, it's gonna be a game where you need your superstars to perform at a high level for LSU. Harold Perkins first on defense. You want to protect those DBs? Well, you put him in a situation where you less coverage, more getting after the quarterback. Plain and simple. Like you've experimented this entire season with putting him at linebacker, putting him at nickel, letting him drop back and cover the pass. You got to let him loose. This is a game where your best players have to see ball, go get ball. Harold Perkins, see ball, get after the quarterback. That's the way you protect your DBs.
You really see that's what everybody keeps saying. I just don't know that I think getting after the quarterback matters.
It does matter.
Everybody's gotten after the quarterback and it hasn't mattered at all. I mean, maybe if it's like a shootout,
but but once again, like it hasn't mattered because teams haven't been able to score like LSU, though. That's the difference.
That's true.
Alabama's
that is the difference. Okay,
in a position
I
where
can
like the game's not out of hand, like Tennessee. It's a 2-score game. They scored 75 in 2 plays, 75 yards, and it's a ball game all of a sudden. If you play like that versus LSU in the first half, LSU's up by 3 scores. That's the difference. So like I would be more willing to say we're going to play, possibly a little bit more risky on the back end, knowing that Harold Perkins is going to make life living hell for Milroe. I would take that chance because if LSU just sits back and gives Milroe 4 or 5 seconds with those DBs, they're going to get their ass kicked in the back end. So this is Harold's game, and this is Jayden Daniels' game if LSU wants to win. You want to be the Heisman Trophy winner, you go out there and throw 4 or 5 touchdowns. If LSU gets to the mid-30s, they win. If it's a shootout, they win. If they can't move the football or they're not as successful, if it's a 17-13 game in the first half, favors Alabama. That's a game that favors Alabama.
I did hear a little rumor here, and take it with a grain of salt, that Mike Denbrock was talking to one of like the local like touchdown clubs or something like that, like a school. And he said, I was told he said this. It feels crazy to me, but that he said like, yeah, I think if we get 34, that will be good.
That's what I've been saying. 35. They get mid-30s.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I bring it up. Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny. Like that's what it's going. It's just funny to hear a coach just put a number on it. If he indeed did say that. I will say this. One thing, again, being too close to the case, so giving you kind of a local angle on this. In the past, there's always been the idea that LSU has lost the bye week because Nick Saban's staff and Nick Saban himself are vastly superior to what LSU has had. I don't know that that's the case under Brian Kelly. Now, definitely Nick Saban is still the fly in the ointment, right? I mean, you're talking about the greatest coach of all time, and it's always hard to feel good about beating the greatest coach of all time, but like, I do think that Mike Denbrock is significantly better than Tommy Rees. I've never really been that impressed with Kevin Steele. Matt House hasn't been great this year, but still, like, I don't think Steele's anything necessarily to write home about. And then, although Nick Saban is definitely better than Brian Kelly overall resume-wise, that's much closer than it was previous maybe against coaches. Like a Les Miles or previous coaches. So yeah, look, I'm just
it
going
goes back to
all Mad Max Fury Road take the chrome, witness me. I'm just fucking balls to the wall, cheering, hoping for the best. I can't pretend to have any great analytical read on this. I'm too close to it.
You are too close.
Hopefully LSU finds a way to win.
I still think it is unsustainable the way Alabama runs their offense. It is. It's exciting. It keeps you in your seats the entire football game because you're just waiting for that massive play. You're just waiting for Jayden to just buy that split extra second to be able to find a receiver down the field. Then all of a sudden, bam, it's a 50-yard touchdown. Bam, it's a 60-yard touchdown. And yeah, like, is that possible versus LSU secondary? 100% it's possible. But it's just like a college basketball team like Alabama, who that's what their basketball team does, who lives and dies by the 3-pointer. If it ain't working, the whole thing just crumbles. It's so unreliable. Like LSU's offense to me is the most reliable you can be because you can run the ball with Diggs, you can run the ball with Jayden. You have the best offensive line in the SEC, and you have the best receiving core in the SEC. You can win in multiple facets. Alabama's a one-pitch guy. That's it. One-pitch pitcher. It's a home run or it's a bust. It's a home run or it's a bust. There's if you can make them actually drive the length of the field consistently, you're going to cause turnovers. You're going to cause mistakes. So is this the game where it finally bites Alabama in the butt? LSU fans hope so. You got 2 weeks to prepare for the offense for LSU, and hopefully you got some guys some confidence during the bye week. I think LSU's offense, it comes down to me, LSU's offense is good enough to score points against anyone in this country. And maybe it won't be 40 or 50, but if they get to the mid to high 30s, they win the football game.
Well, to me, if I do want to look at keys, it's the LSU offensive line. And it's because if you look at why A&M, Ole Miss, and Tennessee all faltered to a man, as much as we could talk about Milroe and that offense getting going in the second half, it was more that they couldn't, all those three teams they couldn't do anything offensively in the second half. The Alabama defense took over, and they did it mainly by winning in the trenches. And with that front seven. And so LSU's offensive line, I think, is the best in the entire country. And so you got to go earn that. You got to go prove that. And that's going to be the case. B-Bean says, T-Bob looks really worried. I'm not worried as much as I still am just in 24/7 debilitating pain. That's what's actually going on here.